It's a feel-good song for all the ladies out there listening. I'm alive. We want to help you feel alive, right, Manish?
Oh, yeah.
We want to help you feel your best and thrive. 2026 is coming around the corner. I'm alive. And speaking of alive, yes, we're alive on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and everywhere else. All right. It is 7 o'clock and we are going to get started, guys. All right. So, welcome everyone. Today is episode 4 of my new Deals and Heels podcast. And today we have a very, very special guest, Manish Patel.
Thank you for inviting me, Christina. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you for being here with us. So I wanted to have you on as a guest today because you are amazing and you are in my circle of friends. So Manish came to my office at Keller Williams and just a few minutes with him and I felt like amazing. And he's a good friend of my husband and I. And so enough about me talking. I would like Manish to tell us a little bit about himself and his background and share it with the world.
Well, I thank you. And I'm Manish Patel. And, I'm here to help everybody reconnect with themselves. And this has been my journey. I think we all live in this world where we're taught to believe that the solution is out there, right? The solution, the answer, and even the problems are out there. And that's really not the case. It all begins in here, in the body, the mind, the brain, all of it. And when we start to uncover that, we start to live. This is us living in flow, right? And, I thank you for your kind words. And,
it's the truth. I speak the truth.
listen, and this isn't me being humble, but one thing I've learned in my journey is we're the same. We're all the same. We're just in different parts of the journey. Yeah. And, I was blessed to be given the opportunity to talk with Keller Williams, as well as a lot of the other work I've done, companies I've been with, teaching the Silver Method, doing one-on-one coaching. It's almost my calling. Not almost. It is my calling. Okay. I've been an occupational therapist for more than 2 decades. That's how I know your husband. It's a small world.
Yeah.
Before I even met you,
yes. You knew my husband before.
Your husband was my patient when,
Yeah.
and then you and I met at the office, and you said to him, I remember you said, you got to talk to this guy, Manish, and he teaches the Silver Method thing that apparently Marco was interested in and knew about. And Marco in his mind thought that there can't be more than one Manish. There is a lot of Manish Patels. There are. It's like Dave Smith.
Very popular name.
It's a popular Indian name. But then when he got on the call with me in the Zoom, he's like, yo, dude. I was like, oh my God, it is. So small world. It's a small world.
So Manish, so you teach the Silver Method. Can you break that down and talk about that a little bit more to the audience where they will understand it? Because, not everybody is familiar with
I am a Silver Method instructor. That's A. I am an occupational therapist. I'm a neurolinguistic programming coach. I'm a hypnotherapist, and I'm a corporate wellness coach. And they all connect. It's not like, okay, he's a jack of all trades. There's a
it? Mhm.
connection. The
Yeah.
Silver Method, in particular for me, I've been teaching now for just over 3 years. For me, has been something that's been incredibly transformational in regaining control of my body and my mind, right? To no longer be a victim of how the outer world experience dictates my inner feeling state and therefore also the way I feel about my body. And I initially started on that journey to manage chronic pain. Back in the day, I used to play a lot of soccer. I experienced one ACL repair surgery, two meniscal surgeries, chronic pain, to the degree where I wasn't able to sleep at night. My sleep
Mhm.
was very dysfunctional. I was pre-diabetic, pre-hypertensive. I was much heavier. I wasn't able to be physically active. The pain left me irritable. It was affecting my work. I worked primarily as an occupational therapist then, and it was challenging. It was challenging to show up to work and put a smile on my face, motivate people, encourage people, listen to their pain when myself inside was truly struggling,
Breaking down
breaking
and
down.
being yourself.
And I always knew about these concepts. There's a doctor by the name of Dr. John Sarno. He's got an excellent book out there. He talks about the mind body prescription and how pain is really a distraction from the subconscious mind. Okay, basically, he says in short that when we have subconscious, unconscious traumas that are unresolved, the
Mhm.
subconscious sends that to a part of the brain, to the body, and in a form of pain or dysfunction or a lesion or a tumor or a cancer or something like that.
So I just want to interrupt you because this is exactly what happened to me. From everybody knows this is why I'm here. I'm always telling my story and sharing it. I went through a lot of trauma, losing my parents at a very young age. I had anxiety, depression, post traumatic stress syndrome, and it was all in my mind, but it was coming out in different forms through my body. And I would go to the doctor constantly, like, something is wrong with me, and check this and check that. And it was like the cartoon, you put when, what is it, when, oh, water's coming here, water's coming, and I
Yeah,
would fix
you
that
would
one.
block it and it would come out somewhere else.
Yeah, fix this, tape that one, put a bandage over that area, then it's over here, then it's over here. And people would think I'm crazy, but I would feel it because it was so much going on mentally that it was coming out in all different other areas of my body. So it's,
Yeah, I mean, and that's powerful,
yeah,
and by the way, your story is really powerful.
yeah,
Everybody's got this personal story,
yes,
right?
we do.
And here's the one thing. We get so engulfed with that personal story.
Yes,
We speak it so well,
yes,
and we speak it with feeling because every time we speak it, we feel it. And when we feel it, we're reprogramming and rewiring. It's Hebb's law. The
yeah,
thoughts you wire, the thoughts you fire. So when we cannot change the narrative of our future, we cannot change our story until we stop telling the story of the past.
yes.
And that was my mistake too.
Me too.
Okay, and even just now, a lot of what you said, and when you start to let go of it, and when you change these little words that you change, that I have anxiety or I had anxiety, you know,
Hmm.
you're programming your subconscious mind. What is the subconscious mind? When we really look at it, what everybody knows about this word, the subconscious mind, consciousness, but really, what is it and how is it affecting us? It can't be found. The brain is just an organ. The
Yes.
brain is the receiver and the transponder of information. This, and it's extended to the central nervous system, and our eyes are part of the central nervous system. There's no disconnect. But the mind goes beyond. And
Yes.
you can't cut up the body and find the mind, but it's in control of everything.
This is absolutely correct.
So that's a very powerful story. And then when you can simply, for example, I find people saying, and I did this, I have pain. I have pain in my knee. I have incredibly bad pain in my knee. I have. If I use that word have on repeat, I'm programming my subconscious mind to consider that as the truth.
Yes.
It becomes an automatic program. Okay. And then not only am I speaking it, I'm speaking it with conviction, with feeling, heart-brain coherence.
Mm-hmm.
And then my subconscious is really taking that seriously.
Yeah.
Right. Therefore, and here's the thing, everybody's heard of the book, The Secret, right?
That is my Bible. That is.
Oh my God.
That's what like.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that.
I love that.
No. I take that back. It was a good book to open everybody's eyes up, but it is not the complete story. The number of people who've read it, but nothing really changes in their life. There's no transformation or there's no shift because it's not the complete story. Right? It's like somebody serving you cake without the icing or the good stuff. Right? It's the main body. And it talks about the law of attraction, but the law of attraction isn't the primary law. The law of attraction states, you'll attract what you think. That's what, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And that there's a lot of truth in that thoughts become your reality. What you think becomes what you feel, right? Your emotions, they become your actions or words. They in turn become your habits. The sum of your actions and words become your habits, and your habits form your personality, your personal reality.
Okay.
How thou thinkest, thou shalt become. But it goes beyond just thoughts. This is why affirmations on their own don't work. They're very powerful.
Yes.
Because there needs to be congruent feeling in belief. So it's not just what you think, it's what you do. Very true. Right? You attract what you are. And this is the law of vibration. Law of vibration is what Nikola Tesla said years ago. He was a genius who basically, before even quantum physics and quantum healing took place, he says, frequency and vibration is everything. Yeah. Right?
I just want, because last year I was reading a book and I was testing things out, and I wrote some goals down, and I was always excited, feeling it. I would go to sleep thinking about it, seeing it, feeling it. And I achieved it, literally big goals within the 3 months that I was set out to achieve. And then something happened and I got in a completely different state of mind, and I was still writing different goals, but my mind and my feelings were down. I was on a very low vibration. And no matter how many times I wrote it, nothing was happening.
I love what you said there. I love what you said. What you actually said was partly physics. So before, when you were, in essence, you were manifesting. Manifesting isn't woo. Why I love teaching the Silva method, especially with the neuroscience, is because you take the woo-woo out of it. There's nothing wrong with woo-woo. First and foremost, but there's neuroscience backing it up, right? Did I lose you? Okay, there you go.
I'm here.
There's neuroscience backing it up. So the first time you're writing it down, and writing does work because you're creating this mind-body connection, all right, with writing your goals. And by the way, there was a scientific study done that said when goals are written, there is a 95% probability that it will come true.
Yeah.
Right. So if you write 100 goals, there is probably they did the research. They collected the data with people who wrote 100 goals, and between 93 to 97% of those goals were made for each one of those people. Right. And then when you read them before you go to sleep, with the feeling, with the imagination, with the belief, right? And you really immersed yourself in it. What did you do? Great book here, Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. You basically programmed your subconscious mind for that time where you're asleep to say, this is my new belief expectancy.
Yes.
You put it in the memory of the subconscious. You marinated the chicken for the next 8 hours with exactly that thought and that
And
feeling.
that's what I would do. I would go to sleep, fall asleep to it, meditating and thinking about it, feeling it. And that's when I was achieving
And that's when
everything.
you're manifesting.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
manifesting. Is
Yeah.
manifesting is, and I like to use the word conscious creating, because you were creating your reality. It was your thoughts. Now, when you started to struggle, what
Mhm.
existed? Resistance. Resistance. There was
Okay.
resistance of pain. There was resistance of discomfort physically. It
Yeah.
was challenging for you to disconnect from that discomfort, right?
Yeah.
And that in itself kept you in what we call beta. Just as your heart beats, your brain vibrates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And beta is that brainwave frequency, 14 to 24 hertz, that is overthinking, stress, analytical thinking. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a bad frequency. All of the brainwave frequencies exist, but if that's predominantly active, you're in overthinking, analytical thinking. And when you're trying to access your central mind, your prefrontal cortex, when you're really trying to use your imagination, your intuition, beta won't let you get there.
Yes. This is absolutely correct.
Right? So, and then when you start to relax the body, when you start to disconnect, you drop from beta into alpha. Alpha is from between 7 and 14, and that's that relaxed state. That's actually the meditative state. That's
Yeah.
when you disconnect from the senses, right? And you start to center your mind. You start to actually um, get the two hemispheres of the brain aligned and
Okay.
working in sync, working in harmony. See, when you're in beta, we know that we primarily use the left brain. It's
Mhm.
almost like you, it's almost like you going running around a 400-meter athletic track, right? And only using one leg and the other one being tied up.
Wow.
You could do it. You'd probably fall a lot more.
Yeah.
You'd be slower. You'd have residual pain by the time you finish. If I put in a few hurdles, it would be harder for you to navigate over them. And then
Absolutely.
I untie the right leg. And now you can use both legs in tandem. Yeah, you're much flow. You're able to even jump the hurdles. You have less discomfort. So
Absolutely.
when you start to use your whole brain, that's what you're doing.
Wow. And this is so important because, like I said, I tested this theory last year, and you truly can have anything that you want. You can, no matter who you are, like where I came from, my background, all the things that I went through, the place I was in many years ago, it really is like your mindset.
What is that? What is that? What is the thing in the mindset to get whatever you want? By the way, what is that one word? You're
What
about to
mind?
say it.
Wait, because I know you explain things way
What
better than my
what
subconscious.
limits us? Where do we get limited?
Manifesting, right?
Manifest belief.
My
You know,
belief.
I saw this really. I got to share this. I saw this really cool Instagram reel today. I don't know if anybody else saw it. If anybody else is listening and they saw it, put a comment. Is this little boy? Okay, he was in diapers. He can't have been more than 3 or 4 years old, and he was on a farm and he wanted to put a chicken on his tricycle and ride the tricycle, and the tricycle was on the floor, right? So he first tried to put the chicken on the tricycle seat, and the chicken flew off. Patiently, calmly, he tried it again. Chicken flew off. The third time, he really carefully picked up the chicken, petted it, placed it really carefully, let go really carefully, slowly lifted the bike up, sat on it, and rode with the chicken behind him on the seat. Okay, and and this didn't look like an AI video. It looked like a natural video. But here's the take-home message: there was nobody, thankfully, nobody told him he couldn't do it. There was nobody limiting him by saying, hey, chickens don't sit on bikes. That chicken's not going to ride with you, kid. And somewhere in that kid's life, somebody is going to start to program disbelief, limitation. But just like what you said, we're limitless.
Yeah, it was funny because the market was not doing well, agents were not doing well, and I was killing it. It was like my best year. But like I said, it was my mindset, I was doing my affirmations, falling asleep, thinking about the life that I wanted. And someone came over to me and I want to talk to you. And I was like, sure. Yeah, can you share what you're doing? And I was so excited, like, yes, it's amazing. It's all my mind. And he looked at me like I was nuts. And I was so
I
excited
love that. I love
to
that.
say, like, you can have anything that you want. It's all in your mind,
All in
and
your mind.
I'm attracting it all with my mind. And they looked at me like, okay, conversation over. Like,
They think you're nuts, more
more.
nuts. Okay.
They
Well,
wanted more.
people, and that's what I love with the silver method. People come in, not everybody's a believer. People often ask, what do I need? You just have to be open, and you have to have the desire to change.
Absolutely.
You just have to be open, and there are silver method instructors worldwide. Okay. I'm the instructor for PA in New Jersey. Again, I come from a scientific background, so I love connecting each and every technique. Each out of all the 4 days, there's not a time where I do not quote and support the techniques with the science. And back in the day when Jose Silva was first forming the Silva method, a lot of it was intuitive based from him. He was a genius. He kind of figured it out. He was way ahead of his time. But the science and the neuroscience today has validated through research everything pretty much to be true. Right. And I love teaching it that way because, for your Gen Zs and your Gen Xs and everybody who wasn't raised just to say, just do this because I said so. Do this because this is what the whole village believes in. So you should believe it too. And that's good. That's authenticity when we question things, right? Yeah. But when we can help educate and make sense of all of this stuff and just take the woo out of it, and then you start to tap into that intuitive mind. And really, this is what everybody. How many of you guys probably got an iPhone or something, right? I have an iPhone. This is what Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, everybody went to India for months to learn through meditation how to center their mind and open up their intuition, their inner tuition, right? To be able to get those downloads of information. And like you said, it's all in our mind.
It truly is. It seems like too good to be true. And there's a lot of, like you said, non-believers, but I'm just telling you, there's so many people who know me and what happened to me. And it took, like I said, a lot of rewiring my brain, a lot of work. And once, I started figuring those things out and reading those type of books, getting help from people like Manish and just learning and retraining my brain. And then when I was able to start meditating, getting into a good meditation, that's when all the change came. And just everything that I tried.
What are you doing when you do that, by the way? That's amazing. I love that because you're here to empower. I know women. Your podcast is about empowering women.
Okay? And I'm no scientist like Manish or, a hypnotherapist. I'm none of that. I'm I don't know. I always say I'm just an original person that came from a lot of things. And here I am. And I just like to share my story and experiences and people like Manish to just help other people because I was once there. I was in a bad place, a very dark place, felt very broken, and it took some work. And you have to reach out to people like Manish who can help you get where you need to be and feel much better and attract all the things that you want, the life that you want. But you have to start within yourself, working on yourself. But yeah, I was there, and you know,
Well,
just
I mean, I could sense that in you
yeah,
just now. I could sense that you were actually borderline emotional just now. So I'm not
yeah,
gonna, you and I have had conversations, and the floodgates open, but we're not gonna do that now. But you just you just defined one key attribute is courage.
yeah,
See, when we are faced with adversities, when we are challenged, and God knows many women are challenged, they wear so many roles in today's society.
yeah,
There's so much stress, there's so much expectation, there's so much that they have been told that they should have, would have, could have, and men, respectfully, both genders, and both genders need healing. And
yeah,
really, what is a gender? It's a label. What is your age? It's
absolutely.
a label.
We all need it.
It's no different than religion or political affiliation or race. They're all labels. But at the end of the day, are we really human beings? I think Wayne Dyer said it best. We're spiritual beings having a human existence. But
Yeah,
we're raised to believe we're human beings seeking spirituality. No, we're not. We're actually spiritual beings having a human existence.
yeah.
And when
And
we
I tell everyone I'm not paid to do any of this or say any of this, and I'm not at all a good speaker. But I feel like with all the meditation that I have done, I figured out my purpose, and it was that I had to share my story. I had to help other women who were out there in the place where I once was. And I'm on a mission to do that. So I'm not perfect. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the best speaker, but I'm just genuinely here to share my story, to bring people to you who have helped me on my journey, and just help
so
as many people
so
as I can.
may I respectfully kind of use that verbiage that you just used just now. You haven't yet been able to attend one of the Silver Immersion classes that I hold. I know you're hoping to try to make it in January, and we really do hope you do.
Yeah,
But within the first few hours, you'll learn something called mental house cleaning, and it's
we
really,
all need that.
we all need that, right? And well, here's what we're going to say to you. It's as simple as, when you make a mistake on the computer and you press backspace,
Yes.
right? You spell backspace, and I
Cancel,
think
cancel.
cancel, right? Cancel, and reframe. So the cancel on its own doesn't work, but it's the reframe. And
Mhm.
that's neurolinguistic programming, because what you're doing is you're changing the narrative, right? So when you said, I'm not a good speaker, or I'm not, that's when we would say, okay, you've got an intention and you've got a desire to empower women. This
Yeah.
is your mission. You've talked to me about it. You're like,
Yeah.
and you don't get paid for it. I'm not paid, right?
Mhm.
We want to just get a message out, just to be able to empower somebody to grab the bull by the scruff of its neck and say, you know what? I own my journey, which is what your story is. Your story is a very powerful story. And when
Thank
people
you.
leave my immersion, when people like you show change and transformation, same thing with me. When people say, how did you do it? What did you do? And then for mine, it was physical as well as a lot of emotional, right? A lot of depression. How did you do it? How did you change? That story is the most powerful thing there is. And you have that story. So it would be a cancel. It's as simple as reframing as, I'm now choosing to be better at speaking. I'm aligning to my purpose to empower other women while being imperfectly perfect. Same
What
thing that you said.
what tips, we're not at the end yet, but what tips or what advice can you give women who are in a bad place and want to get started feeling better? What
Okay.
Give
So
us some tips.
being in a bad place, being stuck, feeling that you're not enough is all a form of stress, correct? It's you basically saying that I'm in survival mode,
Yeah.
right? That is how the brain is wired. That is what our subconscious mind's prime function is, to keep us in survival. What's doing all these trillions of uh, cellular biological functions while you and I are talking? We both got cells that are rejuvenating, dying,
Mhm.
rejuvenating. We're breathing really without thinking about it, right? Or when somebody experiences anxiety or something, and their breathing all of a sudden becomes really rapid, right? What's happening? This is stress, right? And whenever and this is natural, by the way. Stress, if people think that stress is not natural and normal, they're wrong. I'll never teach people how to eliminate stress. Nobody can.
Mhm.
Can I teach you how to manage it so it doesn't control you? Because what is stress? Stress is the nervous system shifting into sympathetic nervous system, right? It's the part of our brain called the amygdala that kicks that stress response. It's like back in the caveman days, if you're approached by a saber-toothed tiger, you would either run or fight or flee, the fight or flee response, right? Sympathetic nervous
Fight
system,
or flight, yes.
fight or flight. And,
Mhm.
and, and our body shuts down all of those functions that we don't need. Reproductive system, parts of our digestive system, right? It just really loads our heart and our legs up with blood, and gets the heart beating more. Certain high level cognitive thinking doesn't need to happen. And what the brain does, it goes into beta stress. So women who start to stress a lot, or men, right? But in your case, you asked the question of women, they're overthinking, right? And here's the thing, you cannot overthink change. You can only change the belief, right? You cannot overthink your way out of a problem, because that's, you keep spiraling in
Yeah.
beta, overthinking, analytical thinking, and you're in more stress mode. So this is why we work on breath work, meditation. What is breath work? What is conscious breath work? You're saying I'm going to choose to breathe in, and a lot of times I'll do the 4-2-6 method. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 2, blow out for 6. What are you doing neurologically? If we know that the subconscious mind is 95% of everything that we bring to our reality, and the conscious is 5%, we are now consciously saying, I'm going to breathe in for 4 seconds through my nose. I'm choosing to breathe in. I'm consciously holding my breath for 2, and I'm consciously exhaling for 6. So you are now in this mode of consciousness,
Right.
taking back control. In this mode of consciousness, you're taking back control of your breath. And your subconscious, that 95%, when we stress and we're in anxiety, tends to kick into autopilot and breathe for us.
Mhm.
So here's a tip for you guys. When you really get anxious and you really want a really quick way to calm your nervous system and shift back into a vagal nerve reset or parasympathetic mode, it's close your eyes, because you really do want to close your eyes, because the most noise comes in through your eyes. So if you just close your eyes, breathe in for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 2, exhale for 6. Now do that again. And this time, breathe in through 4, hold your breath for 2, and as you exhale, say to yourself and think, I'm safe. And as you keep breathing in from 4 seconds, hold for 2, exhale for 6, start to simply affirm, I'm safe. I've got a roof over my head. I've got food in my refrigerator. I've got water to drink. I've got clothes on my back. I'm completely safe. I'm with my loved ones. And what you're consciously doing is you're programming your subconscious to say, you don't need to be in survival mode, because I'm safe and I got this. And you slowly start to center yourself, because you're sending out signals and information to the subconscious that I don't have a saber-toothed tiger. See, you and I and everybody else listening, in this day and age, there are no more saber-toothed tigers, but
Yeah.
we assume that difficult conversation with our boss, or
There's different
right in
tigers.
work, different tigers, right? Or you've got relationship issues, or your one kid is a teenager whose emotions are going, you're like, oh my God, or even if it's, I've got to cook dinner and you're not confident with your culinary skills, whatever it is, whatever you equate, whatever your perception is of change. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
And then if you take it a step further, and again, this is something you learn in the class and you get programmed to learn this. We call it a three-finger technique, which is this. Okay, the three-finger technique is just bringing your two fingers and the thumb together, the other two sit in there, and when you really are in that state of relaxing, calm, and peaceful, you apply your three-finger technique and you say, anytime I need to think this way, feel this way, act this way, be this way, this is all I need to do. You're creating a circuit between mind and body, a neuromotor circuit, to anchor in the feeling state.
Mm.
So then anytime you need, as you do it more and more while meditating, while breathing, you anchor it in. Athletes know to do this.
Wow.
Athletes will do this. It's not superstition. Roger Federer talks about, when he's having a really bad tennis game, he has a process. I think he just lets out a sigh. By the way, that right? We know sound vibration heals.
Yeah.
So when he does that, he's also starting through sound vibration, his vagal nerve reset. He'll breathe. And then he does this thing with his cap, touch his shoulder, touch his back. And it's not kind of superstition, but he's programmed himself that that's how I'm going to calm myself, center myself, to regain my to get my game back, to get back in flow.
Okay.
Right? So it's that awareness that you're in stress and get back in flow. There's more to it. The class is 4 days of this information, this program. This is just the kind of brief version.
A little touch, a little touch on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, I mean, it's so much good information. And are we going to do a meditation on here tonight?
We are going to do a meditation. And before I do the meditation, what I really want to touch on with everybody is, like I said, when we start to relax the brain and we step into alpha, the next level is theta. Theta is where you kind of kick open the door to the subconscious mind. You kind of can start to reprogram the subconscious. If you are stuck in this limiting belief that I'm not good enough because somebody told you that you weren't good enough, right? And, I'll give you an example. I was with a client who, amazing singer, wonderful voice. She could sing in a choir, but could not sing solo. Didn't have the confidence. Didn't have the confidence to sing solo, right? And when we were able to use the technique, she'd come to class, she knew how to get to that subconscious level. And the subconscious mind records everything.
Yes.
We don't realize it. This is really what hypnotherapy is about. The subconscious mind records everything. So when we were talking at that beta level of mind, hey, what happened that traumatized you or gave you the feeling that you can't sing in front of people? Oh, nothing comes to mind. I don't know what, nothing. Just don't know why I can't do it. Okay. Are you open to maybe getting into that space, the subconscious, where everything has been recorded pretty much from birth? Sure, I'm open to it. We relax her, get into the meditative state. We disconnect from the body, disconnect from the mind, right? Overthinking, get yourself into a place of peace, because you can't be in peace and anxiety at the same time. The brain, you cannot. So we disconnect from the body, disconnect from the mental state, and you really center the individual. And then we just kind of drop you in a deeper state of mental relaxation, almost to the point where, I'm in the subconscious. It's kind of like that dream state. When we dream, we're in theta. If we put an electroencephalograph on our heads when we dream, and What is it that we're getting? We see images. We feel it's real. A dream feels real, right?
Yeah.
So you get that. And by the way, the language of the subconscious is visualization and imagination. This is why it works. This is why when you pair vision, an affirmation with visualization, imagination, like you did, you program the subconscious with much more solid affinity and you
Absolutely.
attract it, right? So then
Absolutely.
when we did that with this client and we got them to that space, they immediately say, yep, I saw my Uncle Frankie one day
Wow.
coming home from work, and I was practicing singing. I must have been maybe 6, 7. I was practicing singing, and he yelled at me for singing. And he
Wow.
told me I have such a bad voice. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, it was really weird, but this was my favorite uncle. I was so close to him. And just to be able to say, okay, now understand that Uncle Frankie may have had a bad day at work, may have been stressed, and he just came out and he took it out on you. That does not mean that was true. Do you agree? And she's like, yeah. It's like, he just had a bad day. Now, slip in, and as if the you that is alive now is talking to that younger 6, 7 year old, and let her know that you're a beautiful singer, you're a wonderful singer, and just forgive Uncle Frankie. Actually, send him some compassionate love and healing for having a bad day.
Yeah.
So,
My
yeah,
husband yells at me, not yells, but I have a habit of thinking I know what everybody's feeling. And I walk in a room and somebody could be going through, I don't know what, but if their face is not smiling and making me feel welcome, I'm like, I would always think they don't like me. They have a problem with me. There's some, and I would do it to all the time. And my husband's like, you don't know what that person is going through. You don't
you
know
don't
what
know.
they're thinking, what they're feeling. Like you just have to do what you love, do what makes you happy. Don't worry about what everybody else is saying or thinking about you. And I struggled with that for many years of my life. And
So you just outlined clearly, with all due respect, a limiting belief you have
yeah,
that
yeah,
when you enter a space where there's unknown people, you you're hesitant as to what they think about you. So there must have been an experience in your life.
they controlled what I what how can I put it? They controlled anybody could have controlled my life based on how they were feeling.
How they were feeling, or
How they were feeling.
what they told you that life should be,
Yeah.
right? So inner child healing, and the meditation we're going to do, inner child healing meditation, is really reparenting your younger self, your inner child. Remember I talked about the kid with the chicken? It's
Yeah.
almost like somebody told him, hey dude, you can't do that. That just doesn't happen in the real world. And he believed it. Especially our parents. We trust them. We have an affinity. They nurture us, so we will naturally trust them. But not everything they tell us is the truth, and we accept those beliefs.
Yeah.
Another great book to read, and that I always quote, is The Four Agreements. Okay, we're accepting those beliefs, but they're not ours. And when this client basically was able to connect to that, forgive the uncle, change the truth, and say, no, you're a wonderful singer, you're a great singer. Because what did the uncle say? Your voice sucks. You are a bad singer, and just shut up.
And
And
it
she learned to shut up.
believe that.
She believed
And
it. She accepted that as a truth.
and we
And
have I feel like we have an easier time holding on to more negative things than if somebody were to say something good. It's like the bad things stick with us
because,
longer and
because we
deeper than
replay them,
something good.
because we tend to replay them.
Yeah.
We replay them in the present moment. There is no past. There is no future, Christine. There's
Mhm.
only the present. We're only playing the experience of the past in the present moment,
Yeah.
or we're anticipating that repeating itself in the future in the present moment. That's depression and anxiety defined.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how do we disconnect from it? Become present. We breathe. Our body only needs oxygen to survive, not food, not water. It needs oxygen. And when we consciously breathe, we start to center ourselves to become more present. This is disease. This is the manifestation of disease.
Yes.
When we are constantly connected to trauma. I'm a big proponent of Louise Hayes, Love Yourself, Heal Your Life. And coming next year, we're hoping to bring a special speaker to this area that does Love Yourself, Heal Your Life workshops, and really help you detach from all those inner child wounds that we've been holding on to.
Full of. Wow.
Christine, everybody's full of them. Let me tell you this. I've done this for years, right? I don't consider myself an expert or master. You guys are so kind when you shower me with praise, but I've just been on this journey. I do the work. I show up, and if you come across anybody who says that they've got all their stuff figured out, run.
They don't.
You know,
we all have something.
Even with me to this day, I still get faced, but you learn how to manage it better, and you learn how to manage it so you don't allow it to harbor and fest for longer periods, right? Because when you stay in the state of stress for longer periods, that's when that becomes chronic. This is why cancer and chronic diseases are prevalent, because you're in a state of stress for much longer.
So this is why we need Manish, because today's life is not easy, and we do harbor things, and we hold on.
And you don't, and I would say you don't need me, right?
Well,
but I tell everybody who comes to the class, trust me for 4 days for me to teach you how to trust yourself. And when you tap in and becoming intuitive, learning those psychic abilities to be able to intuit and to sense and to detect, it's not to have a party trick to go somewhere and say, oh, I can read your mind, or I know what's going on, right? Because when you learn to do that, if they say praying is talking to God, then meditating is listening. And intuition is allowing the files of God to just be dropped into our mailbox. And when we can go inside and we sit in that space inside and allow that intuition to flow, we start to understand ourselves more. We all want to be understood, right? Especially with relationships and things. We all want to be understood better. And one of our beliefs is, oh, nobody understands me. Nobody gets me. Well, how can we be understood by others if we truly don't understand ourselves?
Yeah, this is correct.
Right? And when we start to understand ourselves, or we start to understand that everything that happened for me, not to me. It happened for my growth, not to punish me then we grow, we evolve, we ascend, right? We raise our conscious vibration. In your case, going back to it, courage. There's a great book, Power versus Force, by Dr. David Hawkins, and courage is that first conscious thought vibration that allows us to break through from lower vibrational frequencies of anger, fear, sadness, guilt, shame. They're all lower, and they're not bad, by the way. See, again, society's taught us, oh, you're an angry person. You hold a lot of guilt, a lot of shame. They're not bad. It's like the movie In and Out. They all serve to protect us. And we've just been sitting in that puddle for too long. And when we start to have the courage to ask for help, have the courage to show up at a seminar and go inward, that's when we start to evolve. That's when we start to shed those layers and evolve and ascend. And we shift in courage, and then to harmony, peace, love, joy, but these are vibrational frequencies. And you attract what you are.
Yes, that is 100% true.
So that's what we're going to do with this inner child meditation. So
before we get into that, because I don't know if we get very relaxed, I would like everybody to know how to find you, any information you want to give so they can find you. And I will be posting everything on Facebook, but I would just like him to.
My website is silvamindset.com. My Instagram handle is at mindset_coach_Manish. My email is manish@silvamindset.com. My next 4-day Silva Life and Intuition Immersion is going to be in Asbury Park, January 24th, 25th, January 31st, February 1st. It's a Saturday, Sunday. So it works especially for locals in the New Jersey, PA area to not have to take time off work. So you still get all the benefits. It's a closed group, very immersive. The classroom overlooks the ocean. I'm a water sign by horoscope, so I love being around the ocean. So I think it's got great energy.
What's your sign?
I'm a Pisces. I'm a Pisces, so I'm that intuitive sign, I think. But
so if you want to feel better and start 2026 strong, you can join Manisha's seminar, which is going to be in January. If you want to change your life, your mindset, and get on the right path.
And you know, even if the class isn't what you want, there's one-to-one coaching, one-to-one hypnotherapy sessions. You know, you can contact me, and I can, you know, I can give people a complimentary discovery call to see what that's about. And some people align more to doing one-to-one coaching. The most success is when people have maybe done a combo of both coaching and the class. I had a client who's been getting coaching with me for a while now, and he's going to try to get to the class. And he said, Manish, why would I want to come to the class, right? If I'm getting this coaching. I said, it's kind of like you're learning to sail through the harbor in your boat, and you're doing pretty good. You're going with the current. And the class is like opening up your sails, and you catch that wind. And then once you catch that wind, whoosh, right?
For those asking about Manisha's contact information, I'm actually going to post everything on my Facebook. This way you have the links, email, and everything that you need to contact him. Right now, Manish is amazing with meditation. So he's going to go into a meditation with us. I hope you're ready.
All right. So some instructions for you guys. I would take off your glasses. I'm going to keep mine on because I'm going to be.
I can't see well, so.
You don't need to see. You don't need to see. You're meditating, so you don't need to see.
If you want to dim your light down.
You could dim the light down. What I also recommend is kind of scrunch your face up a little bit. We have this habit that as soon as we start to relax, we'll want to twitch. We'll want to touch a part of our body, like, you know, our ear or something. You want to be relaxed. You want your legs to be flat on the ground, not crossed. You want to kind of sit a little bit upright. You could do this laying down, but then you might find yourself falling asleep because your body is aware that that posture puts you to sleep. All right. So I'm going to guide you all, and we're just going to help you relax, and we're going to do a very brief inner child healing meditation. All right. So sit in a comfortable position. Allow your eyes to close. Allow a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale, an even longer exhale. Once again, inhale through your mouth, through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Continue to breathe in this manner, breathing in through your nose. Hold for 2 seconds, an even longer exhale. Mentally tell yourself, every time I breathe in this manner, I am taking back my power. I am in control. Your conscious mind is bridging a connection with your subconscious. Together, they form a complete conscious state of awareness. You'll continue to listen to my voice. You'll continue to follow my prompts. You are always in control. this is for your benefit. I'll take your awareness to different parts of your body. Simply relax and allow yourself to enter a deep state of relaxation. Relax your scalp, the skin on top of your head. Relax your forehead. That's it. Release any frown. Let go of any and all stresses in any muscle or tissue in that part of your body. Relax your eyes, the tissue around your eyes. Relax your face, muscles of your face. Relax your tongue. Unclench your jaw. Relax your neck from top to bottom. Relax your throat inside and out. Relax your shoulders, arms, forearms, wrists, and hands. Relax your fingers and the space between your fingers. Let go and release any and all stresses that you may be holding onto in your hands. Relax your spine from top to bottom. Release and let go of any muscle tensions, muscles large and small. Relax. Relax your chest, inside and out. Relax your heart, lungs. Feel that gentle palpation of your heart against your chest wall. Allow your awareness to simply relax and go deeper. Relax your abdomen, any organ in your abdomen that you intuitively feel needs a little bit more love and attention. Simply relax. Envision white light entering your crown, making its way to that organ, filling it with white light until it is full and complete. And as it fills up with white light, it turns to a pristine pinkish white color. We can now assume that it is restored to its pristine original state. Relax and go deeper. Relax your hips, pelvis, and thighs. Relax your knees and the space behind your knees. Relax your ankles, feet, and toes. Allow this feeling of relaxation to flow from top to bottom. I will now count from 10 to 1. On each descending number, you and your subconscious enters a deeper, healthier level of mind, twice as deep as the number before. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Feel going deeper and deeper. 5, 4, 3. Deeper and deeper. 2, 1. Now imagine that you are in front of a door, the door to your childhood home. Whatever comes to mind, observe the door. Observe the door from top to bottom, left to right, the color, the decor, the handle, the doorbell. Reach out and turn the handle of the door for your childhood home. You enter the home. Nobody else can see you that lives there. You make your way to the room where you, that 5 or 6-year-old you, would often sit, play, read, or dwell. Notice the floor, the decor, the scents, any furniture. Familiarize yourself with your childhood home. Feel a sense of nostalgia, the feeling that you are in your home. You are safe. No one else can see you. No one knows you're there. You make your way to the room where the young you is sitting. You open your door and you notice that young 5, 6-year-old you with their back to you. You walk close to them. They just know that there is somebody there. They turn around and they look up. And to their astonishment, they see you. You see them. Notice each other. Allow her to embrace you. Hold them. Hug them. Whatever feelings come to mind, accept them. Feel the warmth of her body and arms around your neck. And as she holds you tight, you hold her even tighter. She knows it is you, and you know who she is. There's an instant connection, a forging of hearts, a oneness. You tell her quietly, you whisper in her ear, you needn't worry anymore. I'm here for you. You are safe now. I will never abandon you again. Notice how she responds. Place your hand on her back or her heart. Let her feel your presence and your sincere love. And repeat the following words to her. I release the beliefs you absorbed that were never yours. I release the fear, the guilt, the shame that did not belong to you. I free you from the expectations you carried too young. You are worthy. You are enough. You are loved. If she cries, hold her tighter. If you cry, simply allow it. As she absorbs your words, Imagine a bright golden light surrounding the both of you. Warm, healing, integrating. Invite her to stand and take your hand. Tell her, from today forward, we move together. I am your protector now. I choose thoughts that honor you, us. I choose actions that support you, us. Because our thoughts create our feelings create our actions become our habits, and those habits form our personality. And we will create our personality, our destiny together. Now imagine the younger self of you stepping into your heart. Allow her to step into your heart, becoming smaller, merging beautifully and safely within your heart space. Take a deep breath in. On your exhale, feel whole, integrated, empowered, and healed. I will count from 1 to 3. On my count of 3, you will slowly open your eyes, feeling healed, empowered, and at one with yourself. 1, 2, 3. Eyes wide open, feeling fine, in perfect health, feeling better and better than before. All right. Welcome.
Awesome.
Did you see anything connect?
The funny thing was, I saw like everything in my childhood home so clear, things that I didn't even think I remembered in detail. And my mother was there, and it was me, not at 5 or 6, but me at 12 appeared,
Okay.
which is funny because it's the age where, after both of my parents passed.
Okay. So that's where your mind kind of took you. It's interesting, right? And that's kind of where your mind took you. And therefore, there may be some resistance and block to take you even beyond to uncover some of this. But however, what's powerful is it was the beginning of facilitating a connection with the you that experienced a lot of these situations that you assume to be traumas that created the narrative and the beliefs that limit you and block you.
Yeah.
Right? But that's good stuff. But
Yeah.
and as you do this more and more, you just connect with the self. And by the way, the inner child is the subconscious, is the soul, is the spirit, is the higher self, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, that was amazing, Manish. And we're going to have you back on because I know it's for people who this is very new to them, or they don't believe, or they're, a little confused. It takes a little time to kind of understand it. So we'll definitely have to have you back on. I know we kind of went over our time, but this was
Yes.
really good.
I
And
thank you. I thank everybody for tuning in, and please direct questions to any of Christina's. Leave comments, and if you have questions, I'll do my best to answer them or connect with people.
And I just have to really say before we leave, my memory, I think I blocked so many things out because it was a painful memory. And the fact that I was just able to see so many details from my childhood home that I have not thought about in a very long time. And to see my mother, and she kept squeezing me in this meditation, and the 12-year-old me, and seeing all these things. I mean, that was really amazing. So,
all right.
But yeah, we have to have you back on, and I'm going to put all Manish's information on my Facebook, so you have a way to contact him if you want to talk to him, personally, and join his Silva. Say it again.
The Silva Method 4-day
Silva.
immersion in January. And yeah, there's, you can definitely, when you go on the website and you see the class information, you'll see everything you get, all the techniques, all the bonuses, and I will say this, one of the most beautiful, beautiful parts of the Silva Method, in my opinion, is that once you complete the 4 days and you've got the certificate in hand, you then get to be part of any graduate group, not just mine. Mine is instructor run, and I have mine, and all instructors have them. But with that certificate, you can be part of any graduate group. And the science says that a 4-day immersion retreat of motivation will facilitate a shift in motivation, but it's short-lived unless you're part of an ongoing like-minded community. And for me, that is the best. That is the best part of the Silva Method and what I do, because that community is a strong community of, Christina, really quickly, in a world of 8 billion people, to be in a place where you're unjudged,
It's a great feeling, isn't it?
It's a great feeling. And we meet twice a month, and that's free once you go through the class. And it's continued shifts, continued education. We share successes. It's a beautiful thing. And I believe in it. And I believe in it because it facilitates your success. And that's my why.
My husband and I are definitely, gonna see if we're able to join in January, and we will talk to you and let you know, of course, because we are always in contact. And so I will put all your information on Facebook, and I really do appreciate you coming on and being my guest on episode 4.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you. And this is, what, hats off to you. Great cause. I love what you're doing, and keep going. You're doing amazing.
Very helpful. Thank you. We love you, and we will talk to you soon.
And this was just a teaser.
And this was just a teaser, everyone.
Just a teaser. All right.
Bye.
All right. Take care now.
You too.